Hello, my name is Gabby and welcome back to my channel, or if you're new here, then welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I am going to be talking about more popular books that I have not read yet. So I've done two other videos that are like this one, and those will be linked down below in the description if you want to check those out. And really quick before we get started here, but today is my 50th upload. Thank you to my friend who counted for me, and also just thank you to everyone who has ever supported me ever, whether that would be liking, commenting, subscribing, or just watching my videos. Thank you. So now let's start diving into the actual video. I do love hyped books, and I've gathered quite a few of them over the years. So let's talk about some more of them that I just haven't gotten to yet. These are going to be in ABC order, and let's just get going here. So first in this video, I have Fallen Kingdoms by Morgan Rhodes. So this follows three kingdoms where magic has been forgotten and a piece is taken over after they fall for it. However, despite this piece, there is an underlying tension between the kingdoms. As the rulers grapple for power, we follow a princess, a rebel, and a sorceress, and a hare as their fates are all intertwined with one another. And then we follow these characters as they experience betrayals, alliances, murders, and love. So I've talked about this book very recently on my channel in a book haul, so obviously the main reason why I haven't read this yet is because I just got a hold of it. But this series is also supposed to be like the YA Game of Thrones, and I read the first two books of the Game of Thrones series, so I know I have a good chance at enjoying this one. But because I already know that I like that series, it does give me some concerns about just like comparing the two and maybe this one just not being graphic enough or just to that level. But I've been on a break from Game of Thrones recently just because of length, and they took me forever to read, and it really held up my pace through my TBR. So basically I am just hoping this series will help me fill that Game of Thrones size hole in my heart, but I guess it is a little weird that I am replacing one giant series with another series that's like a little less giant but still pretty long in its own right. But on that note, I do just get way too curious about really long series, like how did you get to this point and where did you go? Like I really want to know, and finally holding this book in my hands is the first step to finding out. So next on this list I have Long Way Down by Jason Reynolds. So this follows our main character who was on his way to murder the man who murdered his brother, and it takes place during the 60-second elevator ride that our main character takes. So this is a book that I've owned and that has been on my TBR for a really long time now. I feel like it's almost a lock for 5 stars because I've just heard so many good things about it. And then this book is also just so short, and I know it's probably only going to take me like a day to read this, which is actually why it's probably sat around for so long. Like my mindset is just like I can read it and probably love it just whenever I want. Like this is a book that just feels reliable, and I'm kind of holding on to it for the right moment, like when I have a streak of just really bad reads and just need something quick, and that's probably going to be 5 stars. I also feel like this book may make me cry, which I am very much looking forward to. So next in this video, I have Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. This follows a planet that contains the remnants of the human race, and they are constantly being attacked by alien starfighters. Our main character lives on this planet, and she dreams of becoming a pilot, and then this all becomes possible when she finds a ship among the wreckage. So my journey with this author has definitely gotten off to a rocky start, which was why Mistborn was in part 1. It might have been part 2, I don't really know. It was in one of these kinds of videos earlier. I was not a big fan of his Steelheart series, unfortunately. I think it's like called the Reckoner trilogy or something, but what I was a fan of was the writing and just like the world that Brandon Sanderson had created in there, and because of all of that and because he's a really popular author, I definitely feel like I have to give another one of his books another try, which is ultimately why this book is here. As per usual with Brandon Sanderson, I've just heard amazing and great things about this book, and although sci-fi is just like one of my favorite genres and one of the ones I do think that I read the most, I actually don't own too many sci-fis at the moment since I did have just like a sci-fi themed month back in January, so I'm a little low right now. So overall, even though Steelheart does have me like a little scared and a little worried, this book does sound really fun, and despite my skepticism, I actually do have a lot of confidence in here at the same time. So the next book is Strange the Dreamer by Laini Taylor. So this follows our main character Laszlo Strange, who often dreams about the mythic and lost city of Weep. Laszlo would have to cross like half the world in order to search for this place, but one day he gets a great opportunity in the form of a god slayer and some legendary warriors to help him seize his dream. So this one is very similar to Skyward in the fact that I didn't have a great time with Daughter of Smoke and Bone, and once again Laini Taylor is just a very popular and very beloved author, and I want to be able to have that experience. I'm really hoping that this is the book that is going to be able to do that for me, and then I've also just heard amazing things about Laini Taylor's writing in here, and I'm very excited to read that. I just need to get over the hesitancy that Daughter of Smoke and Bone left me with, and I do think that I I'm going to have a good time here, especially since I am kind of going into it with lower expectations, but I don't know, we'll see eventually. So the next book that I'm going to be talking about is The Astonishing Color of After by Emily X. Arpan. So this follows our main character who believes that after her mother committed suicide that she turned into a bird. She goes to Taiwan in search of this bird and also to just meet her maternal grandparents for the first time, and then while she's there she begins to uncover family secrets and ghosts while also coming to terms with her mother's death. So remember when I said that I was ready for Long Way Down to make me cry? I am completely unready for this book to do that to me. Because I could definitely see this book just like absolutely destroying me, and it has sat unread on my shelves for a really long time, probably the longest in this whole video because of that. This book just terrifies me in so many ways, many of them good if not all, but I really want to be ready for that and I just don't know when that will be. But I do really want to give this book a try, since from the second that I found out about it, I just knew I was going to love it, but I do just have to be in the right mindset first, which is something I am still working on. So next in this video, I have The Hazelwood by Melissa Albert. This follows our main character whose grandmother dies alone in her estate, the Hazelwood, and then her grandmother was also like this reclusive author of fairy tales. Our main character's mother is kidnapped by a figure who claims to be from the supernatural world where her grandmother's stories were set. Our main character has always avoided her grandmother's stories, however with the help of a superfan, she has to find the Hazelwood and go into the supernatural world to get her mother back. I do love books about just like fae and fairy tales, and I feel like this book just combines all of that and just like a lot of things that I love, and I do think that I maybe heard some reviews for this that made this out to be just like pretty average in my mind. Like I haven't heard too many things about this that made me think, oh, maybe I won't enjoy this, but I have heard a couple of things that made me think, oh, maybe I won't enjoy this as much as I thought I was going to. But the plot does still really intrigue me in just so many ways, and I feel like even though I'm a little shaky about this, I do think that I do still need to read it. Once again, my expectations are definitely lowered, which usually ends up working in the book's favor whenever that happens. But I will be mainly looking forward to the supernatural world in here, and I am very excited to go explore that, so we'll just see what happens in the future. So next I have The Ocean at the End of the Lane by Neil Gaiman. So this follows a middle-aged man who returns to a childhood home in order to attend a funeral. He feels drawn to this farm at the end of the road where he met a young girl and her mother and her grandmother when he was young. He then goes and sits by this pond and begins to think about his strange and dangerous past. I've just heard incredible things about this and the author attached to it here. I hauled this book around when I started my channel, I want to say, so it's still like semi-new to me. But the story just sounds so different from anything else that I've ever read, or really that is just on my unread shelves now. This is definitely one that I am expecting to be blown away by. I have a very good feeling about it. I mean, the cover is just stunning, which doesn't always make for a good book, but it does make me hope a little harder, so hopefully this book doesn't let me down when the time comes. So next I have The Priory of the Orange Tree by Samantha Shannon. This follows 3 different characters and takes place in a queendom that doesn't have a hair while dark forces are closing in, which I know is a very short summary for such a massive and large book, but it was all I could really come up with. So length, that's it. It's the size of this thing that is completely why this book hasn't been read yet. And I did look at the total page number for this, and it's only like a little over 800 pages, which I've read longer than that, but this book just like looks and just feels gigantic. This is probably the most intimidated that I've ever felt by a book. Well, maybe it's close to The Astonishing Color of After, but then they're also intimidating in different ways, so I don't really know. I will eventually get to this book one day, and when that time comes, I am sure that I will love it, but for now, I'm just gonna keep staring at it in fear until I eventually work up the courage to start it. So next is This Savage Song by Victoria Schwab. This follows our main characters Kate and August, who are heirs to a city that is at war and overrun by monsters. Kate wants to be ruthless like her father, while August just wants to be human. However, August is actually one of the monsters, and he can steal a soul with just one strain of music. Kate has just been kicked out of her 6th boarding school, which gives August the opportunity to like keep an eye on her. However, when there is an assassination attempt, these two must flee together. So I am a really big fan of Victoria/V.E. Schwab as a writer. I just love the way her stories just suck you into the world, whether you want to be there or not, which usually I do. This will be my first not-adult book that she has written, and I think when I first heard about this, actually, for some reason, I thought it was a contemporary, which just seems insane to me, which is why I think that this book has just gone unread for so long, because I just had like a completely false idea of what this book was. I don't think that this book has ever been in like a book haul on this channel, but I did just pick this up a few months ago, so what I've been saying about recently hauled books in this video applies here as well. There's just a lot for me to look forward to in this book, mostly all things Monster War related, so this should definitely be a good time knowing what I know about her writing. So the last book on this list is We Were Liars by E. Lockhart. So the summary of this book was just not very helpful at all, but it is like a private island and we follow a bunch of people that are all liars. I guess that's what this book is. I got this because it is popular and people really like it, so this is going to be a very quick one here. I do tend to like things that are set by beaches, and this one is on like a private island. There's honestly not too much else for me to say here. I do think that this book is like mystery genre related, which is not my favorite thing in the world, so I don't know how that's gonna go. But I also just don't know how any of this book is going to go, so at least I'll be surprised. So those are all the books that are going to be on this list here today. Thank you all so much for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell, and answer the question that'll be around here if you want to do that, and hopefully I will see you here next time. Bye!